Good evening and welcome to SLR Round 3 of Tier 2 in Season 10. It's Kebab on the mic with Rizarian with me, and we are at France, one of my favourite tracks on the calendar. It's always an exciting race here. It's very easy to overtake. There's lots of DRS zones that make the order switch up a bit, and it also is quite a tricky track as well. Some very good places to make overtakes though. As you can see there on the screen, we've got new fancy maps up on the screen, but yeah, I haven't done much running here in this game so far, but I've had some fantastic races here in the past, some terrific places to overtake, particularly down that back straight where you get DRS, then you get a long straight down towards, I think it's turn 12, I believe, that and then turn 13 where it's kind of like a long right-hander that you can really send it up the inside if you're brave enough, and you can keep the car under control. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It's always exciting race in France. Always lots of overtakes, lots of action. And turn 1 can be an absolute chaotic start as well. But welcome, Rizarian. Great to have you here once more. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, thanks. I'm looking forward as well. Like it's my honor to provide you all some commentary again. And I'm looking forward as well. We saw last week at COTA Circuit of the Americas, it was a very close race, especially at the front. So I hope the fight continues because the standings are looking close as well.
Certainly
especially
are,
yeah. Especially the driver standings. There's a bit of a gap for Aston Martin, I believe, in the constructor standings. But the driver standings are looking very close.
Yeah, 37 points for Samim, and then closely followed by Meepo in 35, AR Gamer on 33, and Christian on 33 as well. So a 4-horse race at the moment. Yeah, the constructors at the moment, Aston Martin started strongly, but Ferrari came back in that second race, and we'll be looking to make more headway in this one as well. But let's get going with the track itself, the qualifying. We have Vinge on the first to do who is, I'll put my teeth back in, I'll get there, don't worry, bear with me. Vinge, the first one out on track, currently set in purple sector 1, which you would expect because he's the only one to set a sector 1. And yeah, he'll be the first one to cross the line. I think he'll be closely followed by an Alpha Tauri. I'm not sure who that's going to be, Vietia or Silver. Two of your Dodge compatriots there.
Yeah, it's Silver. It's Silver.
So, what kind of times do you expect here then, Rizarian? I'm not sure myself. I'm thinking 30s maybe?
Yeah, I think something like that. Might even see a 29, to be honest. I haven't practiced too much, but I think we certainly get to see, I think, under the 130 maybe.
Yeah, I think a couple of people might just sneak into those 29s. It's a tricky track. I think I got a 27 here back in 2020. It kind of shows you how much the cars have slowed down a bit with the new regulations. Yannis says good luck from Cancun to his son Meepo, who is once again fighting for a win here, I imagine. It's great to see him showing support even all the way from Mexico on a business trip, I imagine. As we have Vijay coming across the line as we speak. He got a very good exit out of the final corner. What's he going to do? He does a 130.5, which kind of suggests that we're almost certainly going to see some 29s, because yeah, that's a pretty quick time already. Silver with a 32.2. Next one is Heat, who's going to come across the line next in his orange McLaren, using all of the track there on the exit. And then his teammate SLR Matt, or the Matt Pilot. Everybody changes their names on a regular basis here. But it was Matt that came across the line first. Heat didn't seem to set a time. Heat is currently spinning everywhere. But it did seem a bit odd that. That looked like a bit of lag, maybe, something like that. But Christian with a P1 goes pole with a 30.358. Fantastic time from him. And we're going to see some times coming in thick and fast now. And follow on board with some of these fast runners. We've got Meepo coming through the final sector. Let's see what kind of time he can put in as he comes around the final corner. We've got an Aston Martin crossing the line as well. That's Samim, who goes P3 with a 30.7, in contention for the championship also, currently leading the championship, but will be disappointed he didn't get pole. He's currently 4/10 off pole at the moment. Let's see what Meepo does though as he crosses the line and goes P3, knocks Samim down one. So the two guys leading the championship not quite there as it is at the moment.
Yeah, currently he is on another lap. He drove purple sector 1 and purple 2 isn't purple 2. What do I say? I mean sector 2 isn't purple, but maybe he can improve up on his teammate. Ah, he just drove slowly.
He's backed out of it. Yeah, let's follow on board there with Virtue, who's driving. But it wasn't Virtue, it was Kyriakidis who was on an out lap anyway. But we've got Virtue on a lap at the moment with that sweet, sweet bum of his. I hit that a couple of times in Tier 3 last season. It was very enjoyable. Let's see what he can do as he crosses the line, though. Let's see where he puts it. Yoda with a 33.1. You'd expect him to have made a mistake on that lap, being such a time. But Virtue 33.3. So yeah, probably a mistake somewhere in there. Somebody else pumped a time in there as well. I think it might have been an Alpine. But yeah, still a number of people yet to set a time. McKenda is currently out there on soft, but I get the feeling he's probably not going to set a time. Start from the back, being a Tier 1 alien. We've just been having a long-winded discussion about whether or not aliens should have to do 3 pit stops or not qualify, or you know, how many different ways can we manipulate them into not winning the race, and then they're winning anyway. Because my argument here is that if there's a safety car, you'll just pit twice under the safety car and be alright on the back of the grid, and then that's his 3 pit stops, essentially.
So what we're already seeing is like, it's really difficult to get a good lap on board. Like, people are setting banker laps, but this is really, if it's up to me, I feel like this is really a track where people have it difficult to set a good banker lap, because it's just, when you drive on the limits, you can drive so much faster, but you can easily just invalidate your lap as well, because just there's so much grip outside the track as well. So it's easy to drive outside the track and not lose your car, I would say.
It's definitely a tricky track in terms of track limits. There's obviously, it's quite an open track, as Kyriakidis falls victim to that. As I say track limits, he breaks the track limits. We'll have to back out of that one. Everybody's in the pits at the moment. A couple of people are at the top out for out laps. We'll have a follow on board with Christian for his fast lap when he does finally come around. But yeah, tricky track for track limits. I mean, because when you look at it, it's obviously, it's not like, say, Monaco or something like that, where there's nowhere to go over the track limits. There's plenty of places where you can cut a corner or go wide on an exit and cause yourself problems, which means that there's probably going to be a lot of penalties in the race. And it's not impossible for a safety car here, but it's very unlikely, given how much runoff area there is. If you spin off, you're more than likely going to avoid a barrier. But it is possible. We've had a safety car here once or twice. Is now the time to bring up the time that Eversnacks caused the safety car at France and cost me the win. I'll never stop bringing that up, if I'm honest. But Ninja about to start. Oh, is he finishing a lap by the looks of things? I think so. Looks like he's currently on 100% ERS, so he's going to be starting a lap now then. So, down into turn 1, we'll do a follow-on on board and see how you take this track. So, down into turn 1, you brake just after the 100-meter board or just before the 50-meter board on the left-hand side. Cut as much as you can on the inside, but be very tentative on the throttle around that right-hander, because it's very easy to lose the car with the camber. Braking at the 50-meter board here, you want to cut a lot of the inside curb here, more than that, and using a lot of the curb on the inside there as well. And then not too much curb on that one there, because you need to get a very good exit. Tentative on the throttle, short shifting to get good traction. Down now on at the back straight, cutting this left-hand curb as much as possible. And then down towards a chicane. I do not remember any of the names of any of the corners around France, because they're all in silly French language. So, braking just after this break here in the road on the right, cutting all the curb on the inside, and then again cutting all the curb. You want to do that a lot, but not that last curb there. You want to do that, it unsettles the car. Down now to the flat out right-hander, an overtaking spot for sure. If you get the inside, you will get past the guy here. And then another overtaking spot here is this tightening up right-hander. You can brake later than you think and carry a lot more speed through here than you think as well. It's a good corner there from Vinge. And again, trying to get a late apex here. There's normally a yellow bollard. There it is. That's the apex that you're looking for, that yellow bar on the inside. And then his final sector is all about technical skill, keeping it tight on the left-hand side here, so you can open up this final right-hander and carry as much speed as you can. He maybe could have got a little closer to that apex, but down the final straight now to the finish line. And what's he going to do? It's a 30.3, so he goes faster, but not fast enough to take pole. Cracking
Yeah,
lap.
while you were talking. Oh yeah, sorry. Well, while you were talking about Vince, Samim was trying to set another lap, but he immediately invalidated at the end of Sector 1. So that's unfortunate for him, finding it difficult so far to contend for pole position in this qualifying, while Christian says fast time 1:30.0.
Yeah, very, very quick time. I think we might see some people just about nudge into the 29s by the end of this. We've got Meepo currently on our hot lap and setting a purple Sector 1. Looking smooth at the moment, using all of the track, which you have to do here. That is one of the things about this track, is you've got to put it on the limits, otherwise you're not going to get those quick times. As he comes now into the chicane, we get a lovely camera angle there, and he maybe went a bit deep in the first corner of that chicane there, and he's now got an Alfa Romeo who should hopefully get out of his way. He comes now into the fast right-hander. And yeah, let us know in chat. I mean, obviously, chats seem to be having a conversation amongst themselves. At least Tipsy Bob, otherwise known as Damien, and Yanni are definitely having a conversation with themselves about children. I think Tipsy Bob may actually be the child snatcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah, I feel like children are a very important subject to talk about, but I would advise to not let them running around this playground. It's the cars are driving a bit too fast, but that's a bad joke. What being tired?
Not overly fond of children myself, so I say let them play. Let them play.
Yeah, I meant not. No, that's not. I wanted to say I didn't meant to play out of the car on the track. You know, that wasn't a good idea. I think you mean like in the car.
No, set up a little hopscotch on the back straight. Yeah, like little playground, some balls. Just let them play on the track. Why not? Yeah.
I would say there's enough runoff area to do so.
Meepo though did seem to get a time in there. It's a 30.490, so not looking good for pole at the moment. Christian is currently the fastest man on track. Smeldo has also managed to put in a good time there with a 30.6. We've got 5 minutes left of the session, and people will be looking to do their final runs sooner or later. We've got Lepson out on track as well at the moment. He looks like he's going slow. It might be his in lap, so nothing to see there. We've also got AR Gamer, who's managed to put himself up into P5 with a decent time, but 30s seem to be the mainstay for most people. And yeah, looking to get the lower than the 30s you get, the higher up you're going to get. But I wonder whether Christian can break that 29, break into the 29s. I mean, nobody else behind has been able to get anywhere near him at the moment, and it's his pole to lose as we start.
Yeah, but he can also lose it. Like I see a lot of people, Tenari for example, try to set a better time, but he invalidated his lap. Samim invalidated his second run, so there are a lot of people finding difficulties. But if they nail a lap, if they find the comfort in Sector 1 and can continue that onwards on the lap, I feel like they can still contend for a pole, maybe. So it's like people can, that's especially on this track, people can, when you don't see them coming, they can set a good time out of nowhere, because it's just about nailing the corners and especially just not invalidating. That's very important.
Hugely important, obviously. Yeah, turn 1 and 2 here. That very oddly cambered chicane is a very tricky corner to get right as well. And if you don't get that right off the bat, it sets you up for a bad lap for the entire run, really. If you lose at least half a second there if you get that wrong, and obviously you can lose a lot more if you spin, but like just getting it wrong, or getting the line wrong, not onto the throttle early enough, can cost you a lot of time there. But we're going to have Yoda doing the first of the final runs by the looks of things. He's currently sitting on a 133.1, and will be disappointed with that. He'll probably, hopefully, be able to make a big gain here. He gets a bad exit out of the final corner by the looks of things though, but I didn't have the greatest camera angle for that, as he comes down now to that turn 1 and 2 chicane, which is very tricky indeed. Let's see how he manages it. So looks slow, but he got used to all the track, and sometimes looking slow is the way to go. Is Matt going to settle up? I'm also a little behind as my net can't keep up, says Damien. It says, I don't believe he will settle up. We have rules and regulations about aliens setting laps and doing things in Tier 2, much to my dismay. But Crystal's also an alien from Tier 1, coming in down into Tier 2, but he hasn't had the best of time so far in Tier 1 this season. Beginning of last season, though, I remember he started off extremely well and seemed to have the pace to keep with the top 6, but sometimes his focus and concentration lets him down, and he causes issues for himself that can sometimes be problematic over the course of a race. Has a good relationship with Barry, the man on the wall. Yeah, I don't think we will see how Christian's time compares Tipsy Bob, unfortunately. But Christian is definitely quick enough for Tier 1, judging by his USA performance in the non-R tier. Oh, sorry, the Australia performance, sorry, in the non-R tier.
Yeah, definitely. He just he disrespected the whole field, but like I was happy not to be racing there, you know. I still got disrespected by drivers like you who were also like pretty fast for a Nana tier. Like, well, I'm driving myself in Nana tier as well, but I was just happy with the points last week in Kota. So
certainly, you know, there are a few people in Nana tier who are already used to using no assist, so there's not much of a learning curve for them. I'm one of them included. There's Ocean Chief and Eagle Ghost as well. And yeah, but we're getting down to crunch time now. We're going to have some laps coming in thick and fast. Let's see if we can find somebody who's on one at the moment. Christian at the moment coming down now, the final corner. Getting a little bit of traffic in his way, but the Ferraris get out of his way well. Look at the start there, lap, I imagine, is that Ferrari. Tonari is not having the greatest run so far in this qualifying session, as Christian sets a faster time, but it's a 30.043. I'm not even sure what his original time was, but I think that is very close.
Well, Samim goes into the pit, he invalidated into the penultimate corner, and he chooses to pit. That's a disappointing qualifying for him, definitely. Not getting the second and third run a good lap in.
Vinja has also invalidated his time as well, so that's his qualifying done. He won't be able to snatch pole from Christian. Meepo is currently on a lap as well. I'm not sure if he's going to be able, if he's going to finish first, but AR Gamer out of it, you say? Oh no, AR Gamer looks like he's on.
No, AR Gamer. I didn't mean AR Gamer. I meant Samim.
So Samim's currently 6th on the grid. Not a qualifying that he wanted, but hoping to make up places on the grid, on the race itself, I guess. Meepo then coming now through the final corner. We've got G Haskos, who's invalidated, coming around the final corner as well. He comes in at the pits. We've got SLR Matt. Nope, that is Heat coming around the final corner. Let's see if he can. Vietja retires from the session in the pits, I imagine. But Heat now crosses the line and goes P5. So a quick time from him, gains 4/10 on his previous best. As we've got AR Gamer now, also looking to cross the line next. And that is P3, a fantastic lap from him. Great improvement, 2.5 gained. And Meepo next. But looks like Tonari jumps up to P5 in the meantime, missed him. And then Meepo jumps up to P3, knocking AR Gamer. But at the moment, looks like Christian is the man to beat. Smelto, what can he do now as he comes across the line? And he improves 130.5, gets himself up to P5. So it looks like we've got a very competitive grid, but that looks to be our grid for the moment. Everybody else is either coming into the pits or not on a lap. So Christian, 3.5, well, 3/10 ahead of everybody else at the moment. Could he be the man to challenge Makenda and Crystals in this race? Larson also does not set a time in this session. I'm not sure why. We've got a poll up in chat as well if people want to get their votes in for who's got the race win, who's going to get the race win. I've put my vote in there, and we'll see what those say before the race as well. If Matt qualified, he'd be the favourite to win. So, sorry, if Matt qualifies to be the favourite to win, but considering he's at the back with Christian absolutely flying, it's hard to see past him taking the win, says Damien. I think I might agree that, but anything can happen in these races, and Makenda is an expert at making his way through fields like this. He makes some unorthodox moves on slow people through unorthodox corners. But sorry, you were about to say.
Well, I wanted to say, Christian getting pole again after he got it as well in Kota last week. I'm curious what he will do. Last week he chose a completely different strategy. He started on the hard tire as well. Almost everyone else chose to start on the medium tires. It didn't work out for him. I think, if I remember correctly, he finished P3 or P4 or P2. Can't remember.
I
He
don't
didn't
think
win
he
the
got the win. I
race.
can't remember, but yeah, my memory's terrible as well. So I don't think he got the win, but I think he did get a podium, if I remember correctly, or maybe P4.
Yeah, something like that at least. He got 6-second time penalties if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
But
actually, yeah, I think
interesting
that's
to
yeah.
see
You're
what he
right.
will do.
He got dropped quite a bit because of penalties, and is that going to haunt him today again? Penalties can play a big role. I mean, these guys are only 3/10 a lap behind over the course of 30 laps. It's not that much, especially if he makes a couple of mistakes. But we've got Lucas again in chat. Vamos Dimitris Kyriakidis, he says. Great to see people supporting our drivers. Let's have a look quickly. Oh, I didn't get there in time, but never mind. Apologies to the stats man, but hopefully you'll be able to get the qualifying times from further down from the original view in the qualifying session itself. But let's see then. We're not going to have a formation lap, so we're going to be getting on the go straight away. And it is raining. It is absolutely chucking it down. It is full wet conditions by the looks of things. We did not expect that. Nobody told us about that. But we have got results for the poll. It is Christian who's in the lead at the moment with 57% of the vote. Meatball in P2 with 29% and Other with 14%. Interestingly, nobody has voted for Makenda. That is very interesting indeed. Especially considering this weather as well that we've got. Makenda is pretty good in all conditions. And
we can throw all the strategies, we can throw it all away. It's all about the racecraft now. Who can keep the car on the track and as fast as possible?
yeah, I mean, I have done very little running here in France this week, or in fact, no running already, to be honest. And I've done next to none in the wet either. Even though I've got a race tomorrow in Tier 1, I'm going to have to do some real grinding. Got work tomorrow as well, so I'm not going to really have much of a chance to get much practice in there. But we have an issue. But we are away, and it looks like the Mercedes got a very good start, and it looks like he's already alongside Christian and takes the lead, already going down into turn 1. And yeah, gets around the outside as well. Full wet conditions. It looks like AR Gamer also challenging Christian. Christian's struggling. He doesn't use assists. These guys, there's a couple of cars spinning out in the background there. Contact for sure. Christian has ghosted with contact with AR Gamer, and AR Gamer down the inside now on Christian. Christian dropping down to P5 already, struggling in these conditions. The two Ferraris already up into P2 and P3, really doing well in these conditions as well. Meatball has struggled in the wet in the past, but already a great start from him. Not a good start for Smelto though. Currently down into P18. He has not done well out of that. Christian down 4 places. Heat down 2. Matt down 3 places as well. Some more fighting going on here though, as we've got no sound, and I'm not sure why. As I'm trying to get that back. There we go.
Yeah, so Smelto really unlucky. He got spun round after turn 2, and Larson right after that, he just I think he got it wrong on the traction. He just went too much on the throttle and spun around. Went off the track. No damage for either of the drivers. Yeah. And Smelto fighting his way back, P14 right now.
Christian having in the middle of a big battle at the moment with Futuristic and Samim. And Samim, oh, we get contact with Futuristic there as well. Down at that sharpening, tightening right-hander. And yeah, some action here between Haskos and Heat as well, as they bump wheels as well. Haskos gets the position though, by the looks of things. He's up 6 positions. Makenda up 6 positions from the start, and Lepson is out of the race. He's crashed. We won't be able, cannot see where he's crashed. He's out into the wall there on the right hand side. Smelto also DNFs as well. Rolls back onto the track, and Larson has to dodge 2 cars there. We have a full course yellows. It looks like it's just a VSC for the time being. We've got a few people in the pits. We've got AR Gamer and Haskos both in the pits, looking to get wing changes, I imagine. But Vinja has taken the lead of the race and run. Not looking back at the moment. Meepo into Nari, P2 and P3 looking good for Ferrari. Christian dropped down the order at the start, and that is to be expected because he's not using assists. Like the guys with traction control, I mean, Meepo and Nari both don't use assists either, as people will slow down heavily now to get their deltas correct. Will anybody get a drive through, I wonder, as we now get a breather?
Yeah, so it seemed for me like Lapson and Smelto, what do we say? Smelto and Lapson collided and then crashed. For me, it was clear to see Smelto had no left front wing anymore. His right front wing was intact, but the left front wing was completely gone. And I didn't see any damage. What there was a wheel off from Lapson's car. It almost seemed like so.
But yeah,
That's an unfortunate start for both of them. Smelto spinning twice in the first lap.
and that is these conditions for you. I'm not sure why we've got Kyriakidis and Samim swapping positions under yellow flag conditions of drive-through penalty for Vietje for speeding under the VSC. It is still a VSC. No plans for a full safety car by the looks of things. And looks like, I don't know why we've got people swapping positions under the safety car. Not allowed. Not allowed. You know, not allowed to drive alongside the driver in front. Just keep your distance. It'll tell you when it's ending, and then you can put your foot down. But big gainers so far. Kyriakidis has gained 6 positions. Futuristic has gained 5. Tunari has gained 3. And Makenda, as you would expect, has gained a lot, 9 positions. 10 it was, like 8 it was originally, but things are changing at the moment. Not sure why they're changing under yellow flags. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, McKenna and Wesley just had contact. McKenna almost driving next to Wesley, and in the last turn, he drove into Wesley while was starting again.
I think a big issue here is Kyriakidis in his lag. He's lagging in and out, and 5-second penalty for Silva, ignoring the yellow flag, overtakes somebody under the VSC. But we are green flagged again once more and back underway with the race. As a couple of people pit at the back there. It's AR Gamer who's now back at the grid. I don't think things got wrong for him under the VSC, and he's got wing damage and had to come in and pit to change it. I don't know whether this rain's ever going to dry up or not, but Vinja has left the session disconnected, and that gives Meepo a run for the lead essentially. He's ghosted now, and Meepo will say thank you very much and just drive straight through him. And Tunari currently not too far behind, so as it stands, Ferrari 1-2.
Yeah, as it almost stands, Tunari right behind Finch, 1 second behind. Christian again, last week as well, he got a poor start, dropping down a bit, and this week again he drops down in P4, starting on pole. He needs to fight his way back somehow.
And that is the nature of no assists versus some assist users. I mean, Meepo and Tunari are also no assist users, but we've got a bit of a battle going on here between Samim and Futuristic. Samim right on the tail of Futuristic at the moment. Crystals as well, getting past Kyriakidis, who's also disconnected, I think. Yeah, Tunari on the back of Vinja as well. He gets past the ghosted car, as you would expect. And Makenda still making moves. 3 seconds till his next move to be made. Wesley and the Matt also close together as Meepo sets the fastest lap. Christian then sets the fastest lap as well, proving that he still has pace in his car and maybe shouldn't be counted out just yet. Interesting, very interesting. Crystal's also making his way through the field in comfortable fashion. We have a yellow flag, and that is AR Gamer around. Looks like his wing is intact, just a spin, but a race to forget already so far for him, but he'll stay in it. He is a man that generally stays in it. Anything can happen at any stage. If a safety car comes out right now, he might be able to dive in the pits where nobody else could, for example, and end up in front. But 14 positions down at the moment, not where he wants to be. And Samim and Futuristic still having a battle. Samim looks like he's going to go for it down the inside now into the chicane on the back straight. Will he get that move? Yes, he will. He goes deep, but blocks the way for Futuristic to make any kind of switchback. Futuristic unable to fight it back just yet. Is he going to go for the move into the fast right-hander? It does not look like he is. Samim, of course, running traction control, which will be helping him out a little bit in these rainy conditions. But I think Futuristic also runs a couple of assists as well, Line being one of them. That is the nature of this tier. All assists are pretty much allowed, other than the pit assists and steering assists, braking assists, things like that. So you can use full traction control, medium traction control, Line and ABS, as well as automatic gears as well if you want to. The results of the poll is Christian win by 55%, Meepo to win by 33%, and currently that is not on. It is Meepo in commanding lead of the race, with a 2.5 second gap to his teammate.
Yeah, it's he has a really large margin right now. He's also driving the fastest lap. Tunari seems to struggle a bit as he went off wide a couple of times. It's just he finds it difficult to keep it on track.
Yeah, I mean these conditions are very, very difficult to drive in this game. Very tricky. Very difficult to get the traction down on a game that's already a bit traction difficult on the traction kind of thing. But I've noticed at certain tracks in the wet, the traction in the wet sometimes feels, I wouldn't necessarily say better than the dry, because obviously dry is always better kind of thing, but it feels a lot easier to catch it in the wet than it is, say, in the dry kind of thing. And once you've gone in the dry, sometimes it's just gone, and sometimes in the wet you can kind of really power slide your way through a few corners and catch it. It definitely costs you time, but a lot easier to catch it. And I wish it was like that, maybe like that, a bit more like that in the dry sometimes as well. But handling model is always going to be controversial in these kind of games. Vinja dropping down the order, still has been unable to rejoin, and there he is now, rejoining. He's on the back of Futuristic, and I wonder if he's going to be able to get control of his car again and work his way back through the grid. He's had some pace in qualifying. He took a commanding lead of the race in the first lap, and now he'll be looking to recover if he can from these issues. Only an SC can spoil Meepo's game, says Yanni, and that is the curse complete.
Yeah, well, Makender just said the fastest lap was a few laps. He was 3 seconds behind Heat. He's really pushing it. He's almost within 5/10 of Heat, and he's really pushing up the field. He might even, like, his experience in Tier 1 driving without assist, that really helps when it's rain. Also, I think Silver spun around at the second turn. He did, yes. Seems like he has no damage.
You still have that... No, he's got a 5-second penalty. I thought, yeah, somebody had a drive-through. Vietia had a drive-through from the VSC. But looks like we still have some racing going on here. We've got Christian all over the back of Tenari. This is a battle for the ages. He needs to get this P2 and catch up. 5 seconds nearly now to Meepo, and Tenari will defend this like a lion. He's going to do the old Perez Ministry of Defense for his teammate, I'm sure, and try and prevent Christian getting through as much as he can. Very, very difficult to overtake in rainy conditions. We've got a yellow flag in turn 1 apparently, but nobody's there, so I'm not sure what that's about. But Christian definitely seems to have pace over Tenari. Both of them have plenty of ERS as well, and Samim is catching up to the back of this train as well. No ERS as it stands. DRS, sorry, because of these rainy conditions. Don't get that. We've got a three-way battle appearing now behind Vinj as well, who hopefully will be able to drop Heat and allow Makenda to attack him, because Vinj obviously had pace for the front of this grid. Finds himself currently in P6, looking to recover. Makenda currently P8, already up 10 positions as Vinj goes very wide there out of turn 2. And, well, maintains the gap by the looks of things. Doing alright. Wesley having a half decent race so far. Don't want to curse the guy, but he's on the back of Matt. And looking to make an overtake as well. Crystal's also behind these two guys, looking to take advantage of anything that goes wrong. Crystal's as well, very fast driver. He's right on the back of Wesley at the moment. Kind of thing. Is he going to be able to make a move down the back straight? We'll follow on board with him now and see what he can do. Wesley looking at a defense here, but very difficult to make any kind of move in these conditions. And it looks like they stay in position as well. Oh, Crystals goes very deep there, outbrakes himself. Maybe he has to take avoiding action to prevent himself hitting the car, and loses a lot of time there to Wesley, and is now under threat from Kyriakides behind, who's hopefully not having any more connection issues. He's having some issues with his internet since he joined the league, in and out, and causing problems for other drivers on the grid because they don't know where he is at any given time. But a yellow flag again in Sector 1, but nobody's there. Not sure what the marshals have been smoking, but whatever it is, I want to
Yeah,
know.
maybe there were some watchers of the stream who decided to let the kids play on the track. Maybe that were the
Oh, we've
yellow
got a late
flags.
move there from Heat as he goes up the inside in the final corner on Vidge. Gets a wheel alongside to keep it clean, but no overtake for the time being. But Heat is definitely putting the pressure onto Vinge. Vinge struggling to keep that position at the moment, and McKenda stuck behind them both at the moment. Maybe he's going to try and go for the double move, but this is the tightest battle on track at the moment. We've also got Kiriakidis getting past Crystals with a bit of lag by the looks of things as well, so maybe he's not where he says he is. Crystal's dropping a position here, and a couple of trains being created by Vinge, and then another one by Matt as well, but not a lot of overtaking happening. We've also got a train from Christian, who did manage to get past Tunari. We missed that one, and he's now creating a gap already, and we'll be looking to reel in Meepo before this race is done. 8 laps out of 27, lots of time to go.
Yeah, Christian overtook exactly one round ago. He overtook at this place. He overtook Tunari, but I didn't want you to interrupt the fantastic battle between Crystals, Kyriakidis, and Wesley. So that's why we missed that. But
By all
Samim
means,
also
interrupt. By all
was very
means,
close
interrupt.
to Tunari. No, that was an exciting battle as well.
Further up they are, the more exciting they are, especially when they're championship battles as well. But no, don't worry, we can't catch all of the action. We are only human after all. But yeah, lots of action happening here. Lots of people in trains and things like that kind of thing. But it's very difficult to find out where the move's going to happen because the gaps change so rapidly here. But yeah, Samim on the back of Tunari now. Tunari struggling in these conditions, maybe taking the track limits to their limit there as well, and falling off. Christian though won't be getting a slipstream tow anymore from Christian. Heat again. Oh, we've got a very tight battle here. Three-way. McKenda in there as well as they try and go 3 wide into turn 1 and 2. McKenda going up the inside into turn 2, but backs out of it. Was that a bird flying across the track or a bit of end plate? I'm not sure. I think it was just a bird. But they stay as they were. Stay as they were. It's tight to make a pit.
While Matt decides to put on the intermediate tires, he decides to get a whole different approach to the race.
I mean, the rain is lightening up. It doesn't look as heavy as it was. Is it time for the inters? We don't know because we cannot see the temperatures. Haskos gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. We're going to see more of those, I imagine. But let's see with the intervals and get the tyres up on screen as Heat is again once again
Samim
close
and
to
Tunari next to each other. Sorry to interrupt you, but Samim and Tunari are having a fierce battle here into the fast right hand. Here,
I'm going to have to go back to the other battle because Heat has got past Vinge. Vinge got a bit of a tank slapper on there as well, and McKenda gets past him also. McKenda now looking to get past Heat into this fast right-hander and doesn't manage to get it done. Heat defends it well, and Vinge putting the pressure on McKenda now as well. McKenda though too old and wise ahead to fall for any moves there, but Samim does not get past Tunari as we jump back on board with that. Thank you for making me aware of that. It's brilliant stuff there. AR Gamer gets past Vierche to try and recover his race, and we'll keep an eye on those times from Lamat as well. Down in P16 at the moment. 5-second penalty for McKenda speeding in the pit lane. He'll be coming in for the intermediates also. He's pulled the trigger, and it looks as though the intermediates was 7.2 a second ago, and now 7.5, now 7.3. It looks like it is definitely the crossover point. McKenda goes on to the intermediates. We're going to see a flurry of drivers coming into the pits now to change tyres.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the lap times of Matt. It does still seem like Larson is driving away from Matt. So I don't know if it's time for the inters yet. We also see on track that the track is still very wet. Also, there is no what do I want to say? The driving line is not very dry as well yet. So I doubt if the inters are fast yet.
I mean, it looks as though they're on a par, though, with the wets, which means that you probably want to make the switch to them now. Now's the crossover period. AI Gamer also coming in at the Larson, so maybe the wets are just working that little bit better. But as long as you can get temperatures, down the inside goes Kyriakidis on Vinge. Vinge gets the switch back and maybe doesn't want to be on this side if he's coming
But
into the pits. So we'll back
but
out.
all the sorry to interrupt you. All the front runners are Meepo, Samim, and Tunari Futuristic. They're all going for the inters in the pit, while Christian is still driving in front with the wets, and he just pulled off the fastest sector 3, 3/10 faster than everyone else in sector 3. So it seems still he finds a lot of grip in the wets. 11 old.
It's going to be interesting to see how these strategies play out, because getting the undercut could be massive, but also if you go pit too early and these tyres aren't working or getting up to temperature, then it could be the overcut that becomes massive there. I think that's what Christian and Heat are banking on, and Heat also staying out, Kyriakidis staying out on the wet. Tonari has pitted and gone for full wets. That is an interesting, bold move. That is very different to everybody else. Silver has also pitted for full wets, fresh full wets as well. So I'm wondering whether the tyre wear around this track is huge, by the way. I mean, there's so many fast corners that your front lefts take a real beating. And I doubt the intermediates or the wets can go the full race. But it's very light rain now at the moment. And I'm wondering how this is going to play out. Will Christian come into the pits now to cover off these guys who've come on at the intermediate? And we'll keep an eye on the times here between Meepo and Heat. It looks like Meepo is catching Heat. The time is coming down slowly and steadily. Whether or not he catches, it looks like yes, Christian is coming into the pits. He is going to change tyres. Heat, 10 seconds behind. Let's see what he does when he comes around now into this final sector. Is he coming into the pits? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So, looks like everybody's had enough of the full wets. And maybe the intermediates are now faster tyres. They must have heated up a little bit. And now the fastest tyre, but Larson stayed out. Kyriakidis also coming to the pits. Tonari's coming back into the pits to go for the intermediates. So he's doing the double pit stop. He looks like he maybe picked the wrong tyre, or they've done the old Ferrari clown strap move and put the wrong tyres. They probably had 5 sets of the wrong tyres there. As McKenna now puts the fastest lap in on the intermediate tyre. And up into P5 at the moment with a 5-second penalty. That could prove costly at the end of the race, but if he has to make 3 pit stops, if this is rainy conditions, you might make 3 pit stops anyway. And Meepo retakes the lead, a 7-second gap now to Christian. So the undercut worked an absolute treat for Meepo, and Samim is now right on the back of Christian still, with intermediate tyres fresh and up to temperature to Christian's fresh out of the box, not up to temperature, very cold tyres. And big cut there on that chicane as well. That's going to be a warning as well. So penalties are still going to be coming in thick and fast by the end of this race, I believe. We're probably going to see a few 3 seconds, a few 6 seconds. As Crystals gets a 3-second penalty there, up to P8. And on the intermediates, Larson the only runner now on the wets, and gained a lot of positions as it stands, but I think he's going to lose even more when he does come into the pits, because he's got a train of cars following him closely. There you see them all coming around that final corner in the background as we come down into the fast right-hander, the flat-out right-hander. I'm not sure it's flat-out in the wet. I'm pretty sure you have to lift. Yeah, Larson is lifting big time for that one. I think the intermediates maybe a little better, as Crystals runs very wide there on the entry to the tightening right-handers. Meepo now sets the fastest lap, showing McKenna that, nope, you're not the only Tier 1 alien in Tier 2. He is, however, the only Tier 1 alien in Tier 2, sorry Chief, to have, McKenna I'm talking about here, to have a handicap. Meepo, no assist runner in Tier 1, no handicap.
Well, maybe he gave a second handicap to himself. He thought, oh, I'm too fast, I'm just driving too fast into the pit lane as well. I don't know what the thought behind it was. I mean, might just be a mistake. But
I'm just trying to wind Chief up, because of the conversation we were having before the race started. But McKenna currently P5 with a 5-second penalty. He should be able to gap Heat to make that penalty not a problem by the end of the race. And some.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you. Vince hit the back of Tunari at P12. And Tunari still kept it on track, so it seems like they both have no damage, but Vince fully hit into the back of Tunari.
Little love top. Certainly,
Yeah,
yeah, no damage to that front wing that we can see, but it is very easy to get lime green damage or something like that, kind of that you cannot see visually. McKenna, though, all over the back of Futuristic, and looking to get past, can't get it done around the outside into this long right-hander. Now the long left-hander, and unable to make the move, but he is taking what... This is how you do it, though. This is how you get the move done. You take a nice wide entry, late apex, and try and get on the power earlier and gain time that way. But not a great sequence of corners there as Meepo sets another fastest lap, and Christian another fastest lap as well. But their times were so similar, you imagine that the 7-second gap that Meepo has is comfortable for him.
Vince goes around the outside here next to Tunari, and he's past Tunari in the penultimate corner now. Very close. Oh, Tunari goes into the pit.
And speeds into the pit as well.
Yeah, he just went fully into the pit. I wonder what happened there. I couldn't catch it completely because it was on broadcast and was too far away to see what exactly happened.
That's a very
he changes his front wing. He has a wing and plate damage. So he definitely got damage from an incident, maybe with
Vinge hit the back of him though, so I'm wondering maybe...
No.
Or was it
He was with Matt. Tunari hit Vinge, I think, somewhere in Sector 3.
Oh, AR Gamer currently setting the fastest lap as we've got McKenna and Futuristic still battling it out on track at the moment. Closest battle that we've got so far. McKenna did get past by the looks of things. I think I missed that on track, but McKenna currently has no ERS either, so you may be able to recover that pretty quick because you can recover a lot more ERS in the rain than you can in the dry. But I'm unaware of the ERS management protocol at France. I don't know whether, I imagine because there's so many straights here, that it's pretty hard to gain it, but at the same time there are a lot of heavy braking zones, so it might be possible to gain some as well. We've got Kyriakidis and Wesley, a battle on track as well, and Vinge and Matt also battling on track. Meepo takes the fastest lap back from AR Gamer, who is looking to recover his race any which way he can. He's also got the pace by the looks of things because he's keeping up with these fastest lap times that are coming in thick and fast. Keeps changing from moment to moment as McKenna now gets the fastest lap at 42.4. So he's not running away with this, is he? Like, I mean, McKenna's quick. He's definitely quicker than the top guys and things, but he's not 1 second a lap quicker in the wet conditions. Vinge now, is he going to get a run down into turn 1 and 2? Does not look like he's going to go for the move. Or is he? Yes, he is. He's gone for a dive there. That is a big dive bomb, and he gets the move done and gets spun round. Matt gets spun round there. I'm not sure. I could not see the right angle there for whether or not for us to FIA that as we go, but that was certainly contact between the two, I imagine, or was it just Matt spinning on his own with the pressure from Vinge? But Vinge gets past, gets it back into the points playing positions.
Yeah, from my view, it definitely seemed like Matt and I forgot the name, Vinge had contact. But I don't know if it was due to a mistake of anyone just touching each other. Unfortunately, it seemed more like wheel banging.
It's a tough place to make a move. That turns 1 and 2. Very difficult to do it. But Vinge sent one. He looked like he was fully alongside, maybe even ahead before they got to the point where they collided. So it's going to be a very, very tricky one to judge, I imagine, for the FIA. Possibly a racing incident, but we shall not talk about. But AR Gamer currently looking to do the same kind of thing into the chicane and gets past Yoda with ease by the looks of things. Goes a little bit deep, but keeps the position. Yoda maybe not able to fight that one back. I mean, AR Gamer's got plenty of ERS to get away from him now, and looks like Larson on the back of Yoda now as well. Be looking to get past him. Maybe Yoda's going to lose a couple of positions one after the other, but lovely helicopter cam shot there of that the widest hairpin in the world, essentially. Those two corners.
I'm just curious of something. Can they make it to the end on this intermediate tire. My knowledge of the intermediate tire isn't too good about it on this track.
I mean, maybe. I mean, they were all right to come in because the intermediates were definitely the fastest tyre, and that's always the strategy you want to go for. You always want to be on the fastest tyre at any given time. But whether or not they have to pit for other intermediates or whether or not it's going to dry up is another question. 3-second time penalty for Meepo. That could prove very costly, but the moment he's got that covered, Christian might be on a couple of warnings already as well. I'm pretty sure I've seen him go over the track limits once at least already, but 7 seconds the gap between him and Meepo, not enough to take advantage of that. But Meepo gets another penalty, then all better off. Yeah, currently the race favourite according to the poll at the start. Christian in P2, 6.7 seconds off the leader, and well, 3.8 seconds off the leader because of that penalty now. And Samim currently looking pretty for a podium as well, with McKenna behind him with a 5-second penalty. McKenna, Christian now sets the fastest lap at 142.1, 3/10 quicker than the previous one set by Meepo, I believe that was.
Yeah, Christian has to be very careful on the track limits because also he is on 2 warnings, so 1 more track limits exceeding and he will get a penalty as well. So yeah. It's almost seemed like he went off track there, but he didn't get a penalty for that.
And sometimes if you lift and you don't gain time, you can fool the game into thinking that you were just slow and not going off the track, and it doesn't do it. But he has pulled that gap down now to a 5.9 from 6.9, so maybe a mistake or two from Meepo, or maybe he's just putting the hammer down. Babula says they can go all the way to the end, talking about those intermediate tyres. 10 laps to go, 16, 17 laps, 18 laps for the majority of people on those tyres. I think that probably is doable. They will definitely be ruined by the end and slow, and maybe some people might go for a fresh set to just be quicker. Maybe they'll make up that time. It depends on where they are on the track and track position and things like that, but should be exciting. We've got another battle on track here though at the moment, which is Heat and Futuristic. Futuristic looking to defend this one, I'm sure. Will he be able to? Heat looks like he's got his number right now. As have a UI getting right in the way. Heat getting him under braking for the most part, and already on the power well before Futuristic, but nowhere to go. Has to back out of that because of this tight twisty sector in the final sector 3. Not a place for overtaking. Christian sets it at 141.8, so the track is ramping up.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Kyriakis and Wesley were close together. It didn't seem like Wesley and Kyriakidis had contact, but Wesley spun around and is currently on P10.
It's unfortunate for him. Very unfortunate, but yeah, it's still in the points pay position. He's got a penalty there, but Haskos also has a penalty behind as well. Haskos will be looking to recover his race. Things didn't go well for him so far this race. He got a good start at the very beginning, but then it all went to pot after that. But Heat and Futuristic still battling it out. Heat unable to make the move stick. And maybe he'll be able to get it done down the back straight now, as he's going to use overtake. And looks to get it done. Looks like Futuristic has him covered with ERS though. As yeah, Heat discovers that he cannot get the overspeed that he needs to make the overtake. And it keeps giving me this terrible camera angle for the chicane. But nothing doing once more. He's unable to make the move. He's using his overtake, he's using his ERS, and Futuristic not using his, but putting his car right in the way. 5-second penalty for Silver as he speeds in the pit lane. Is that going to be a retirement? I hope not. We don't want to see many more of those. Full grid this evening as well. Silver does retire in the pits. 3 DNFs. As he goes on to the mediums, I think that was maybe why he DNF'd, I wonder. Yellow flag. Meepo gets a 141.8, gets the fastest lap. And it seems to be a bit of a ding-dong battle between him and Christian, swapping fastest laps.
He goes into the pits.
Heat into the pits. Is this an early call for the slicks, I wonder?
The track seems too wet for that in my opinion.
It's definitely too wet. But what tyres is he going on to?
He went in on purpose. That's all. He goes for another set of intermediates.
So he doesn't think the track's going to dry at all. He's retired. He's retired? Why is he retired from P6? That does not make any sense. We've
It
got a
does.
yellow flag. I think that's just Silver's car coming out of the pits, as we're probably going to have from Heat as well. His car also coming out of the pits. Please, Codemasters, fix your game. Because this caused problems for people. I mean, look at this. This ghosted car coming out of the pits now. Could go solid at any moment. And cause absolute mayhem for somebody. AR Gamer, currently P12, not having the race of his life. 12-second gap to Lamat, SLR Matt in front of him to try and collapse in on these guys in front of him to make the points paying positions. Might be a step too far, but we never know what's going to happen. Anything can happen still. 7 laps to go. Is it 6 laps? 8 laps to go. Got brake check, says Heat, and then the stupid game doesn't change my wing. I'm afraid, Heat, you do have to, a majority of the time, if you get very light damage, if it's got an orange wing, it will not change the wing for you. You have to change it from automatic to yes, which is a real pain. I really hate the MFD system in this game. But brake checked, we'll have to see the one after the race, because if there's a corner there, it's not a brake check. Futuristic, not 1-2 brake check either, really. But Christian 141.6 gets the fastest lap, but unable to close in on that 3 seconds, to get within that 3 seconds for the final 7 laps of this race on Meepo. Meepo currently cruising and seems to have the race in hand. Big gap from him to Samim, and a big gap from Samim to Makenda. Makenda looks like not enough time to catch up with the rest.
Yeah, it seems like everyone is settling down their own position, having a gap in front and in the back. I feel this is the time for a safety car. You know, we had an action-packed race, but now everyone is settling down. We don't want it. We want excitement.
I want to see some people a safety car, and then some people gamble on the slicks if the rain's about to stop, depending on things. But he says that he braked in a flat-out corner. I wonder which corner's flat out at this stage in a race. None, I would imagine.
Yeah, maybe the right-hander.
I mean, it's got to be the right-hander.
In sector 3.
Yeah, where the 3 is on the track as a Alpha Tauri comes around kind of thing. That is the only flat-out corner in the dry. It's definitely not flat-out in the wet though. But yeah.
Yeah, but that may be the problem then, that just someone else feels less comfortable through that corner with their setup to go on much power and like maybe Heat, but then I'm assuming things. But maybe Heat felt more comfortable to go on the throttle in that corner.
I mean, he looked to be quicker than Futuristic around the whole track, so it would make sense that he would be quicker there as well. Looks like Vinge is all over the back of Kiriakidis as well. He's going to be able to make that move. Makenda now sets the fastest lap with a 141.3, smashing the previous fastest laps out of the water. But it means the track is maybe getting a bit drier. We aren't seeing much of a dry line appear yet, but so it would suggest that we're probably not going to see slicks at any moment. Vinge has caught up massively to Kiriakidis, who's made a mistake there, and Vinge, we've seen him do it once already, dive down the inside into turn 1, but Kiriakidis is defending it already, making Vinge... Oh, he's disappeared. He's just jumped all the way back up the road again. So, I mean, the way the lag works sometimes in this game.
Yeah, for me it didn't seem like a close battle as well, so I don't know what causes that. But for me, the rain, Wesley got a 3-second penalty. That's definitely unfortunate. I think he is on 6 now. But it seems the sky is getting brighter.
5-second penalty for Kiriakidis, corner cutting and gaining a place. So big penalty for him. That's maybe going to cost him big in the points race as well. Haskell's currently leading the pack for the last points playing position, unless he has 6 seconds of penalties. Yes, he does. Wesley also has 6-second penalties as well. So Matt is currently looking good to overtake maybe both of those guys to collect the last points playing positions. As Crystals picks up another penalty. He's on 6 seconds. Penalty situation at the moment. 5 seconds for Makenda, 3 seconds for Meepo, 6 for Crystals. Meepo sets another fastest lap there as well, showing that yeah, Tier 1 drivers, even the back of Tier 1, although Meepo is sometimes challenging for points in Tier 1 as well, can be very competitive with Tier 1 drivers in this field. But it was nearly flat, and I didn't expect him to break mid-corner, says Heat in the chat. So it's partly my fault for racing too close, I guess. I mean, you've got to race close to overtake people in the wet. So that is one thing or the other kind of thing. But I suppose we just have to leave it to the FIA, really. I mean, report it if you feel it. I strongly encourage everybody to report any incident. If you have contact with anybody at any stage during the race and it results in a spin or damage or even just costs you position, I 100% recommend that people report every single incident, because they all count and add up. And at the end of the season, even if you feel as though, oh well, it doesn't really make a difference to my race, if anybody gets a 5-second penalty, it could make a difference to somebody else or somebody else's title challenge. And I feel it's only fair to report every incident. The FIA have a lot on their plate. They do a unthanking job, a thankless job, I think is the word I was looking for. As Babula says, you got a 5-second penalty for an illegal overtake. I imagine that's got something to do with the lag that he's experiencing, and Vinge is already on the back of him as well. Yeah, we might have to review Kyriakidis' position in the league if his lag continues to go like this. We've had to do that before in the past. It is a precedent for people who lag and have issues that have been able to race in our league simply because of those lag issues, connection issues, and hopefully he can just get that fixed and the problems can go away, because he's been a valued member. But Haskos and Wesley currently going to have a battle here. They're battling for position. They've both got 6 seconds of penalties, and Kyriakidis, an aggressive driver for sure, will not waste time making this move. I don't think anybody else. Oh, Wesley gets a big snapper there, and Haskos goes for it. But Wesley, with the outside line, just going to be able to carry the speed. What a battle this is going to turn out to be, as Wesley defends the inside. Haskos unable to make the move at the moment.
Yeah, that's definitely some beautiful racing we see there. Just with respect, giving each other space, but just putting it in the inside when they dare to put it there, because they know they give each other respect. So that provides us for some great racing, definitely.
You've got to do that. You've got to be aggressive in these kind of conditions as well. You've got to put the guy under pressure, make him make a mistake, and that's what's going to allow you to make the overtake. But if the guy in front is just 100% focused and just keeps to his line, it's very, very difficult to make those overtakes. But we are seeing a lot of penalties come in. Tonari, race to forget for him after those pit stops, the double pit stop, and then the wing damage and 8 seconds of penalties that he's got there. I don't think he's going to be able to recover this one. Big gaps we're also seeing, as we see big differences here in the skill of drivers in these wet conditions. I wonder how many people have done any practice. Haskos going to look to the inside there. He doesn't look like he's going to go for the dive though. Rightly so. That was a bit of a stretch to dive from there. But
well, Vinge pushed it in the inside of Wesley in the full speed right-hander. They go side to side together.
Does, yeah. Kyriakidis
keeps
it around the outside, yeah. But Vinge not giving it up. He's still trying to put his nose in there and fight it. I mean, these guys are looking to have a battle, even with the connection issues for Kyriakidis. I mean, at any moment, Kyriakidis could disappear 5 seconds up the road again with this these DCs and connection problems that he's having. But at the moment, they're having a good battle. It looks like Vinge was looking at the inside of it as well, so it looks as though he is where we see him as well. So for Vinge, he sees the Haas there, and he sees where he is, because he is reacting to him as if he would be there. As Vinge goes for the inside now, and will look to make the move down into turn 1. It looks like he's probably going to get it this time, and he gets in front. Dangerous move to do that, to come back on the racing line with the guy so close behind and then break in front of them. It's asking to be punted. I mean, obviously it would be their fault if they punt you still, but it is a very risky move for your own race. Just because you're in the right does not make you invincible. But yeah, great move in the end from Vinge, and a move on track. Haskos still on the back of Wesley as well, unable to get this move done. Wesley defending this one for his life as we get a big tank slapper there. That's not the place you want to get the slapper, because there's a big long straight now for Haskos to take advantage of. Wesley goes to the inside to defend it. Haskos comes along to try and get the position as well, and he should have maybe, yeah, he's going to go for the inside now, unable to make the move twice. Wesley hangs on to it for the time being though. Let's follow on board with Haskos as Meatball sets another fastest lap at 141 flat, beating his previous best by a 10th. Christian gets another 141 flat, and we are starting to see dry lines emerge as Haskos right on the back. Now he's going to go for the inside now into the long right hander. That tightens up, but breaks too early, unable to get it done. You've got to be. You can't brake a lot later than you think you can into that tightening right-hander there, and a lot of people in the wet just refusing to go for the balls out move and just out-brake the car. Just wait until they brake, then you brake, then you go wide. If they get the switchback, they get the switchback, but it's tough to get the switchback there because you can carry so much speed, even if you go wide. But Haskos not being as aggressive as we've seen him in the past, maybe looking to improve his penalty point ratio from last season, rightly so. And
AR Gamer goes into the pits, takes a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. With that, will he go onto the soft tire or will he just retire the car? That's the
it looks
question.
like
He
red,
puts
I
on the
see.
soft
Yeah, he's
tires.
going for the soft tires. 5-second penalty to serve as well. And
Yeah, he just takes a gamble, I think. We definitely see the track drying up. The sun lightens up the track.
Yeah, I think he's got nothing to lose, has he? So like he
No,
wasn't getting into the
definitely.
points anyway, so you may as well try and use the soft. But I feel as though it's too wet. Like he's already looking very slippy. And let's follow on board with him as he goes very, very slowly through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, you see slowly a dry
on the power, spinning his wheels in 5th gear. It's not ready for the dries, but it has stopped raining, which is interesting. But I do not feel it's going to dry up in time for him to make a big advantage out of these tyres. There's not enough time left in the race either, with only 1 lap remaining. Meepo not long past the thing is we've got a yellow flag there, which is a Wesley who is around. We did not see what happened there. Has there been contact between him and Haskos, or has he spun on his own? Remains to be seen, as Wesley currently struggling to get the car under control. Out of the points now because of that, maybe. And yeah, remains to be seen what happened there.
Might have just been struggling. Might have just been struggling. The track is getting drier. People's going earlier on the throttle because there's more grip on the track, but maybe people can make mistakes because of that as well. Just going too early on the throttle when you think it's dry enough, but it isn't yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think those softs are working very well for as Wesley goes round again. Frustration now, getting the better of him, and yeah, it gone to his head now. The things, maybe he's frustrated, maybe there was contact there and he's angry about that and he's lost his cool, but could be he's well outside of the points now. But Matt will be thankful for that. It makes his position all the easier, and he's probably going to get P9, being 5 seconds behind the 6-second penalty to Haskos as well. Kiriakidis probably doesn't have anything to worry about. Big gap between him and Matt. Vinge will not gain a position on Crystals with an 8.5 second gap there. Futuristic and McKenda, big gap between those two as well. Meaning that, yeah, most of the penalties, other than Haskos's, are going to be not affecting the race result by the looks of things as we stand at the moment.
No, it doesn't. Christian last lap went 5/10 faster than Meepo, but Meepo seems to have a safe gap by 2 seconds over Christian to get this race win. There's only 1 lap to go, or less than 1 lap, so it seems like this race is in the pocket of Meepo, but I don't want to curse it because there's still
you've just done that. You've done it now. You've done it. Like it's too late. You can't curse somebody and then say I don't want to curse them and think that just nullifies the curse. You've done it, man. If he dies now, it's your fault.
I don't want to say that I'm proud if I. Okay, no. I'm influential. That's all. I'm definitely not.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you haven't actually cursed anybody yet this season.
No.
But there's a first time for everything. I mean, it will happen sooner rather than later. The commentator's curse is inevitable. It is unavoidable. And I'll tell you what, if Meepo gets another penalty in these final corners, that could be something worth screaming about. But he probably knows that he doesn't have to push or do anything untoward as he comes round now at the final corner to win the French Grand Prix. Keeping it well within the lines there. Look at that, how cautious he was being there. This is probably why Christian managed to take all of that time out of him, because he wins the French Grand Prix with a 39.4, gets the fastest lap as well. Will he keep that and get the point as well? Doesn't look like Christian has been able to beat that time. Samim now coming in P3, a brilliant podium from him, as well as have a quick look at the position change as well. McKenna gains 40
Yeah,
positions, Samim 5, Crystal's
McKenna
14.
fastest lap as well, getting the point. But he won't get it in the standings because he is a tier 1 driver, but he snaps that point off from Meepo.
Yeah, he certainly does.
Very important in this close championship, to be honest.
Both Finns as well. I mean, I wonder if they were in VC together talking about that, and whether or not McKenna has dumped a lot of battery to take that off Meepo on purpose, just to wind him up a little bit. Because he obviously takes if this comes down to 1 point at the end of the season, then Meepo is going to come back to this race, point at McKenna and say, "Told you so. Tier 1 aliens shouldn't be racing in Tier 2." Lamat gets Haskos on the penalties at the end, but that is our grid. So we've got Meepo, followed by Christian, Samim, Makenda, Futuristic, Crystals, Vinge, Kyriakides, Matt, and Haskos rounding out the top 10. Wesley finally crosses the line there and loses out to Larson because of penalties as well, but that's here nor there. And Haskos may end up with a big penalty as well if there was contact between the two that caused thing to spin. There might be a few FIA reports coming in thick and fast. I'm sure there's going to be one from Heat. Like I said, P1 says Janne, all because of your support, I'm sure, Janne, as Meepo gets his, is that his second win this season? I have a feeling he won something already. We shall check. Let's have a look at race results on another screen. So
yeah, it was an action-packed race, definitely.
Certainly was.
I've enjoyed this race. Yeah, definitely an enjoyable race. Surprising qualifying as well, in my opinion. Like, there were people just struggling in the qualifying. It might not be as surprising, but it was definitely like a race to look back on at the end of the season.
Certainly was, yeah. Seems I'm unable to find the results. The correct results. I've got 2 bookmarks and they're both the same. But I will get hold of them as we got the podium going on. So yeah, let's see then. So, team sheets, we'll have a look at how this affects things in the standings. But we will go back live for the standings for the guy who does the standings. Just give him a quick rundown of those. But yeah, let's think as well about who is our driver of the day. So looking at this, I mean, I personally can't look past Samim for this one, for driver of the day. He started in P8, drove a very clean race, stayed out of trouble, no penalties, and gets himself onto the podium from there. And not a bad race in the end as well. I don't think we can give it to McKenna or Crystals because they're both bound to make it up from the back anyway. Kyriakides is an honourable mention going from P13 to P8, but it's not as impressive as P8 to P3, is it?
I would half agree on that. I would say Samim drove a perfect race. Not as fast as Meepo and Christian maybe, but he drove really fast. He drove good this race, clean. But also Meepo has done a fantastic job getting from P3, a good start, getting ahead of Christian, his a contender for the championship as well, and just keeping it clean. Only 1 warning more than Christian, which makes not a difference today, but he drove well as well. But I think Samim from 8 to 3, that would have been my driver of the day as well.
Yeah, we'll go with Samim driver of the day then. But that is Meepo's second win in a row. As we move on now to the interview stage. Let's see if we've got anybody in the interview paddock. We do. We have our race winner. Second win in a row for you there, Meepo. Fantastic drive in the end, starting P3. It seems as though you didn't really have the pace in qualifying, but I'm guessing maybe that you had a wet setup. And is that why you couldn't? Nope. Dry setup as well. So what did the weather say at the beginning of the session then? Did anybody know it was going to be wet?
I mean, like the icon said it was raining, but the rest of the icon said it was clear. And this is the problem with the perfect forecast. It doesn't like really tell you what's happening. So you need to change that somehow. Maybe put it to approximate. It works.
I thought it was supposed to be approximate. That's what I've been putting my host sessions on when I've.
Yeah, but it was perfect from reason.
Okay.
So.
Well, we'll throw some poop at Futuristic after the race for sure. But yeah, fantastic race in the end. You kept things relatively clean. You got a 3-second penalty, but the gap to Christian was huge. Talk us through it. Was that pressure on you there from Christian, or were you comfortable and just keeping things clean and tidy?
Well, basically, yeah, I was trying to keep myself tidy and clean so I don't spin. Then I got a penalty. Then I realized, oh no, I need to push so I don't like lose that position like Christian did. That like last time Christian did to me. And all I can say is thanks to Tunari, that's how I won because he held up all of those people. And I had an 8-second gap to Christian.
Yeah, you certainly sacrificed his race for yours. It did not go to plan for him after he pitted onto the wets. I doubt he's going to be coming for an interview, but you imagine you were in VC with him there. He pitted in for the wets. Can you enlighten us on what happened there? Was that a bug, an issue, or?
Yeah, his mistake. He forgot to like switch the inters to inters.
Nightmare.
Very unfortunate.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
That means you've taken a commanding lead in the championship. But Christian is very consistent with a P3, a P2, and now a P2 again. But you've got 2 wins in a row. Is it going to be 3 wins in a row Meepo again next week? How do you feel about Monaco?
No.
As a commentator, I'd love that, but to race.
No.
Monaco is a horrible track to race at, let's face it. These cars are too wide for Monaco. Bring back thinner cars. We don't care about the aero and how it affects the cars and how fast they go. We want to see racing, don't we? So
yeah, exactly.
Or just get rid of Monaco off the calendar, to be honest. I'll be happy with that as well. It's a horrible track.
I mean, all I can say, I had little preparation for this race, like the whole day. I somehow broke my headset cable or something like that. And I had to go buy new headphones.
Yep, we certainly saw the rude pictures that you sent, the dick pics, in general, and yeah, with fingers crossed that you get. Have you got a new headset already? Have you got out and bought one already? Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
so,
thanks to that, of course. I think.
How the other half live, just be able to go out and buy a new headset straight away.
Yeah.
Wireless, bro. I tell you what, wireless.
Yeah,
though,
it is wireless. It is wireless.
It's wireless one as well. Yeah, it changed my life, a wireless headset, because I used to break headsets. I used to go through at least 2 a year, and it was always the cable that was breaking. Usually where yours broke as well, right at the connector. And I got a wireless one, and it's lasted a year and a half already. And going strong. Biggest brain move I've ever made. But we're going to move on from there, Meepo, and get on to the next interview because we've all got things to do and people to see. But thank you very much for your time and congratulations on the win. And good luck next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Congrats on the race.
Man was crying there. Okay, Futuristic next. We're going to get you into the interview because you're the only person left in the interview room. But we definitely want to talk to you anyway because there has been some accusations flying around in the chat while you were finishing off your race about brake checking in the flat-out right-hander. So Heat feels as though you maybe tapped the brakes where you shouldn't have tapped the brakes in that fast right-hander. What's your point of view on that? Have you got anything to say back? Let's start a fight here, shall we?
Well, it depends on what you want. If you want drama, you can go to watch Discovery or something, Desperate Housewives or something. But of course, the attacking driver will always says it was a brake check. But on my hand, I was unsure of what the level of grip I had through the corner, and as a defensive driver, I have the right to find what the limit of the car is, because I had so snappy rear the whole race, so I took it maybe a bit more cautious than he would like, but I don't see anything that I did wrong.
Yeah, so that was what I assume as well. Just some people getting less comfortable on the throttle than others. But like, as long as you're not brake checking, you can't get penalized for. As long as you're not braking at all, I mean, just going less on the throttle, you can't get a penalty for braking, I assume. So brake checking.
Change of conditions is a very tricky one to judge anyway. But did you press the brake pedal at all in that corner, or was it just a lift?
I did press the brake pedal, but I'm not gonna give you on how much I did it. So
Oh.
Well, FIA can deal
Well,
with that.
that's
That's not
for
for
the
me to deal
FIA.
with. But yeah, this isn't the kind of drama that we like to see, though. I want NASCAR. I want like fights after the race and people punching each other's helmets and stuff like that kind of thing. You know,
it's
that's
give
one
me
thing
your
NASCAR
address.
gets right.
But to be positive, you finished P10 as well. You started P10, finishing P5. You're happy with that as well?
I mean, I guess. I mean, I climbed through the field, so or slightly at least. So I got lucky. It was heavy rain at the start because I was struggling, but there were people who were struggling even more than me. So
And just to bring up another drama-filled topic as well, you've obviously lost out a few points here because of McKenda being in the race and taking those points as well. And you could have lost out some more if Crystals had a slightly better race, but he got caught up in a bit of action with some people, and he maybe could have taken some points off you. Does that bother you at all, or is that a case of, well, these guys, this tier allows assists, but no assist runners are allowed here as well, and they should be allowed to race freely and take points if they want to? What are your views on that?
as long as if they get a reserve seat in a, let's say, the tier, as long as they show their real pace, that just gives us the tier 2 drivers indication that they're too fast around here. So
I'm pretty sure,
as long as they don't get it repeatedly, the reserve seat.
I'm pretty sure McKenna was showing his real pace for sure. I mean, he was looked like he was trying hard, but maybe the 5-second penalty was probably avoidable. And obviously he started from the back and still made his way through to the front of the grid as well. But yeah, interesting topics of conversation I'm sure Tier 2 General is going to be filled with as well. But yeah, we're going to have to love you and leave you there and get on with the rest of me, because I've got a job now, so I need to get up in the mornings and things like that. So thank you very much for your time, Future, and I wish you the best luck in Monaco next week.
Yep, thank you.
Take care. People always jump out before I can drag them out. It's always annoying. It's rather annoying because I've got hold of them and they disappear. Anyway, fantastic race. Great commentating with you once more, Rosarian. It was eventful and a very tricky race, I imagine, for the drivers in those full wet conditions. And I really, really hope that it's not raining tomorrow because I have not got the time to practice rain and the dry weather as well. And I've got to go do that now, essentially. Go have something to eat and then come and do a lot of practice for France. It's been very entertaining. Certainly, yeah.
Entertaining race. Fortunately, I don't have to worry about wet scenarios in the Nana tier, so I'm just practicing dry. And
yeah, I'm certainly hoping to get some
forward.
more practice in before Sunday as well, because that's the one that really matters for me, because I'm not going to get points in Tier 1 against these guys. But yeah, we'll love everybody and leave everybody. Thank you very much for commentating with me. It's been a pleasure as always.
thank you as well for commentating today.